Good morning, fellow heathens. Oh, we've got feedback. No, have we? What's going on? Oh, it seems to be okay now. Good morning and welcome to our podcast. Thank you for coming to watch us. I'd like to introduce the other members of our panel, which is Don from the Bristol area. Guy and Jeffrey are both in the Manchester area. And we have also some other members who will be joining us soon. Not this week, but we're growing. That's the message. It's great, isn't it? Now, we have a cornucopia of items that we could touch on this week. First of all, I'd like to review the AC Grayling event that we staged in London on, what was it, the 29th of November, because sadly, Professor Grayling himself was unable to attend because he contracted the flu. Now, the good news is that he's recovering nicely. So that's good to hear. But his friends gamely substituted for him on screen. And we have some clips of them, which I'd like to play. We had Lawrence Krauss. Here we go with Lawrence's clip. It's a while since you and I have had a chat, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And
you're now in the east coast of Canada.
Yeah, it's nice here, as you can see, and
it's lovely, isn't it?
Yes. It's a little cold. The water is not quite frozen, but it's almost frozen.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, and there was snow here and ice before, but it's nice now. Anyway, it's lovely here. I've taken refuge in my little island, Prince Edward Island, and gotten away from the rest of the world. And it's a wonderful place to, it's a wonderful refuge. So, and, but it's nice to be there with you all. I know I've had many wonderful memories of Conway Hall, and many I think I've done 6 or 7 events there.
Well, the thing is, we're here because, and you're here particularly because poor Professor Grayling is unwell. It's the flu, I can tell you, which is bad enough, but and it's preventing him from joining us even virtually like this.
Yeah,
so,
no, that's why I agreed to do it for my old friend Anthony, who I've actually been on stage with at Conway Hall at one time or another.
Yes, yes, I know you're great friends. Yes, so he was going to talk to us about proving atheism. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, yeah, okay. Well, well, my understanding was that was the topic, although I don't like the terminology, but.
So if you want to see the rest of that video, it will be available on our channel, the Atheism UK channel, but you'll have to sign up to become a member of Atheism UK, at least if you want to be one of the early birds, because we will make it public later on at some unspecified date. And we also have clips of Steven Pinker and Peter Singer that we can tease you with in future podcasts. However, what we're going to talk about this week, well, there's a couple of items that we could discuss. One is creationists Ray Comfort and Ken Ham are trying to take over the coronation. I know there are some people who think that Atheism UK should focus on the UK, but this is a global world now, particularly with the internet. We can't, you know, the British Isles isn't an island as far as modern technology is concerned. So we can't ignore the fact that these people who are based in America are trying to invade our event on May the 6th, when King Charles III will be crowned. So we'll talk about that, but not today, because I suggest we should go on to talk about the census. Now, Don has provided me with some excellent material for this. I'll put it on screen in a minute. But according to the 2021 census, which has just released some more of its data, the religious aspect data, fewer than half the people in England and Wales now consider themselves to be Christian. And that's the first time that a minority of the population has announced that they follow the country's official religion in a census document. So Britain has become less religious in the decade since the last census in 2011. 46.2% of the population of England and Wales, the other parts of the UK, Scotland and Northern Ireland report their census results separately, but 46.2% now describe themselves as Christian, or did describe themselves as Christian on the day of the census. And that's down from 59.3% a decade earlier. Meanwhile, the Muslim population grew from 4.9% to 6.5%, and 1.7% identified as Hindu, which is up from 1.5%. Meanwhile, more than 1 in 3 people, 37%, said they had no religion. Previously, that wasn't an option on a lot of census papers, but that's now gone up from 25% in 2011. So we seem to have a trend here. What do you think? Let me put this document on screen and we can talk about it. This is 2 columns here. This table shows the British Social Attitudes Survey data in the middle, 1983, 2008, 2018, because those surveys are conducted at different sort of intervals. And then on the right, the 2 columns show the census results of 2011 and 2021. So what do you deduce from that, guys?
Well, I think there is a trend, clearly, and the trend is in our favor, and I think everyone is aware of this trend. But what we have to, I think, press for is for the necessary public policy decisions to change. We're still burdened with faith schools, with prayers before Parliament and Christian worship assemblies in schools. We're still burdened with bishops in the House of Lords. We're still burdened with the Church of England having a privileged place as the established church. All these things now have got to change. And that's essentially what the census is telling us. But nobody's going to do any of those changes unless we push for them.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting, though, isn't it, that the British Social Attitudes Survey gives us a breakdown of the various Christian sects, and you can see they've all gone down.
Could you show that again? That was interesting.
Yeah, sure. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes, they've all gone down except no denomination.
Yeah, and I think that no denomination reflects, as Don points out, it reflects 2 trends, I think. Firstly, there is the trend of so-called sort of evangelical churches that are sort of independent, fundamentalist, often Pentecostal, and don't see themselves as having a denomination. And secondly, black Christianity, which is similar, essentially.
Yes, evangelicals.
Yeah.
They are a different category, aren't they? Because, as you say, they're all their own man. They all want to have a God that agrees with them, so they disagree amongst themselves enormously. But
and what's interesting is that those Christian denominations, John, exceed the Muslims. They're over double. So they've gone up, as significantly as the Muslims, who are another branch of fundamentalism, essentially.
Yes. But the census results also show the same trend, and people tend to react differently when they're filling out a census form because it's sort of more official, isn't it? It's government authority rather than just a survey where they might be prepared to loosen up their descriptions of themselves a bit. So the fact that the actual census has also reinforced this trend is really good news.
Yes, I think the fact that that there is this trend is comforting to those of us who would like to see the influence of religion reduced. But it's probably not right to be complacent, because not everyone in these figures is a rational seeker after the truth. The questions in the two different methods are different. The census is, what is your religion?
Yes.
So if you answer none, you probably pretty seriously think it is none.
Yes.
But the British Social Attitudes Survey says, do you consider yourself as belonging to a particular religion? And then as a second stage, it says, if so, which? But
yes,
that first question, I can imagine some people saying, well, I don't belong to a particular religion, but I do believe that there's something supernatural up there. And having various supernatural beliefs. So it's really hard to break out these figures and to know exactly why they're so different.
Yeah, we should campaign for the census question not to be a leading question, because at the moment, what is your religion assumes you've got one.
Well, yes, yes, and yet I think possibly the census is more accurate than the British Social Attitudes.
Yeah, yes, for the reason that it's sort of more official and people might consider it more important to think about it.
And also the question in the survey is would encompass people who are not necessarily free of all religious belief.
Yeah. Yes, and we also have this rather strange phenomenon of people walking around saying, I don't have a religion, I have a personal relationship with Jesus. I mean,
yes.
That's just a bit mind-boggling. That's yeah. So that I don't know how many. It'd be interesting to know how many people fall into that category.
Yes, that needs another survey.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Of course, the British Social Attitudes is a sampling survey, whereas the census is a total picture of what's going on.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
And the other interesting thing, though, from the survey, which I've yet to fully delve into, is there are marked variations geographically.
Oh, yes. Jeffrey wants to come in. His connection is poor, but let's see if he can speak to us. Jeffrey.
Yeah. Yes, what is most important in campaigning terms is the number of people who belong or affiliate with the Church of England, which is a lot less than the 46% who are Christian, because it is the Church of England that has all the privileges, not so much the Catholics or the Methodists. And I think we need to say there a lot less us than the non-believers. I mean, it is interesting sociologically how many people believe in Christianity, but from the point of view of the state and state privilege, we have to distinguish between that and those who are affiliating with the Church of England, and most of those are probably only nominal supporters who were born into the Church of England, but don't do anything beyond having a funeral with the Church of England. So I think it's now time that there's this momentum of the census to really campaign hard and campaign amongst MPs and where it matters, that it's now time to withdraw the privileges enjoyed by the Church of England.
Absolutely. I'm nodding my head off its shoulders here. And the thing is that let me get to our normal screen layout. Yeah, there we go. So the thing is that I don't have the data from the census for how they answered the question, what is your religion? There must be some more finer detail underneath that, because there will be figures. No? Oh, okay.
I did the census. The census question was, well, what's your religion, whether it's Christian, Muslim, or non-believer, or whatnot. So there won't be finer detail from that. We can probably find finer detail from other sources, but not from the census itself, which just asks plainly, what's your religion?
Didn't they count the answers
and listed the alternatives?
I think there was a write-in facility.
Yeah, only the Christian answers or the Jewish ones. There was no subdivision on the census.
Oh, well.
But I don't know whether there's more data to come, but certainly no data splitting Christianity into parts has been published yet. But the BSA survey, of course, does give a guide to what proportion of Christianity is Church of England. And it shows a much steeper decline in Church of England than in other Christianities.
It's catastrophic, isn't it? Down from 66% in 83, sorry, 40% in 83 to 12% in 2018. Presumably now, 4 years later, it's less than that.
Yes, it is. It is extraordinary. And that's just membership, not practicing membership.
Yes. And yet, as Don said, or no, Jeffrey said, they're the ones with all the power, all the privileges, the 26 bishops and the control of the school's agenda and so on. Yes. There's a lot of work to be done, gentlemen.
Apparently the bishops have condemned Keith Starmer's proposal to reform the House of Lords. So, turkeys don't vote for Christmas.
Who's surprised?
Although what's interesting is that many of the, I think all the Liberal Democrat peers and probably all the Labour peers do agree with voting themselves out.
Well, I want to finish with this paragraph that I'm going to read to you, because it sort of summarizes the views that you've expressed. And it says, secularism campaigners said this shift should trigger a rethink of the way religion is entrenched in British society. The UK has state-funded Church of England schools, Anglican bishops sit in Parliament's upper chamber, and the monarch is the defender of the faith and supreme governor of the church. Andrew Copson, chief executive of the charity Humanist UK, said, the dramatic growth of the non-religious has made the UK almost certainly one of the least religious countries on earth. One of the most striking things about these results is how at odds the population is from the state itself. No state in Europe has such a religious setup as we do in terms of law and public policy, while at the same time having such a non-religious population. And to finish on the note that Guy mentioned about the reaction of the bishops in the Lords, the Archbishop of York, Stephen Cotterell, said, the data's not a great surprise, but it was a challenge to Christians to work harder to promote their faith. Is it that, though? Or is it a challenge to Christians to pack it in?
Well,
okay.
There is a trouble with that, isn't there, John? Because, you know, the Church of England tends to be rather mild and friendly and even, tolerant. It's the other more extreme bunch that I'm worried about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. You have done a sterling job. Thank you for turning up. Thank you for contributing. I like your views.
Cheers.
And thank you for the people in backstage, and also thank you for viewers in the future podcast version. Bye-bye.
Bye.